Hey friends, we are going to talk about a hot topic today, at least it is in my book. And if I could ever get frustrated over some political situations, today would be, or this subject would be one of them. And it is, why is it so important to hold our representatives accountable even during a budget session? The key word there is accountability. And in my mind, accountability and responsibility go hand in hand. And in government, this is a huge topic right now. If you're thinking about the problems we're having, a lot of it goes right back to lack of accountability, and it's time to shift that and make some changes. So why is it important? Well, as we think about that question, I want to just run a few things by you and you come to your own conclusions. The first thing is that for our elected officials, their job, J-O-B, is to do the work of the citizens, the work of the people. That's what they signed up to do. And so it's as serious as any of us who are in our own businesses or doing work for another business. There's an accountability and a responsibility that comes with that task, that assignment. And they need to remember that it is a job that they owe some allegiance and some accountability and responsibility to doing it in the best manner they possibly can. They ran for office. Our elected officials made a choice to run for office. So complaining about being accountable and responsible in those positions, to me, there's no leg to stand on there because they made a choice to run for office. And when you do that, you take upon yourself the responsibilities that come with it. I have run for public office, and when I did, I weighed. Before I made the choice and before I publicly announced, I weighed in my mind the effects that it would have on my life and the responsibilities that I would be taking on. So that's a part of choosing to run for office, and it's not an excuse for not being accountable later on. Citizens, I love this one. Citizens have the right to have expectations of their elected officials. And I think sometimes our elected officials forget that. And we see that when we see things like terms like the deplorables coming out of the mouths of politicians. The citizens are not deplorable. They are not low life. The citizens are the beneficiaries of the work that our elected officials do. And so they do have the right to have expectations about the caliber of work that is done in our government. And then this one, this is so important. Our elected officials are not above the law or above the average citizen. And sometimes I think in the halls of government, they forget that part. And, we just have to keep reminding all of these folks, and certainly any of us that run for office, we need to remember this. We're still just regular old people who have everyday lives, and we are accountable for our behavior, and we need to follow the laws of the land. The actions of our electeds, here are some of the effects as we're answering this question and considering why it's important to be accountable, even when it's just the budget session. The actions of our electeds affect the liberties of our citizens. They affect the daily lives of our citizens. They affect business productivity and profitability. Look what's going on around us right now with supply chain issues. It's like dominoes. There will be effects all the way down that supply chain. The problem, it's well beyond just we can't get what we want on our grocery store shelves. At some point, businesses fail because they don't have any product to sell. And then there are the people that lose their jobs and they can't support their families. And so lots of effect from the behavior of our elected officials. Again, state or federal. Think about this one. The actions of our elected officials increase or decrease the opportunities that the citizens have. And that could play out in some really dramatic ways, either direction. And then their actions either do or don't represent the opinions and values of the citizens that elected them. And this can become a problem when power gets, seductive and people start doing what they want instead of paying attention to their constituents. The electeds shape the culture with their decisions, and they can change the future for good or for bad. Certainly as we're watching inflation right now in our country, I see posts on social media every day comparing prices from a year ago or 2 years ago to now. That changes our future. How much will it cost to live in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years? So how do we maintain accountability? And this is our responsibility, citizens. We need to watch the activities of our legislators and our other elected officials and just pay attention to the decisions they're making. How are they voting on bills? What bills are being presented in our legislature? Ask questions. Get your voice out there to tell them why an issue is important in your community and what the best resolution is. We need to be vocal, and then we need to vote appropriately. When we go to the ballot box and put our vote in, if our representatives in legislature or our elected officials are not doing a job that we're happy with, this is our fix. We vote and we determine who holds those offices. So lots of things to think about there today. Question of the day: how do we maintain accountability and still serve public need?